Alright boys, welcome back to another video. You all know me as SAKO, but feel free to call me Jack. Today we're taking a little bit of an unscripted look at the AH-6M. This is the little bird, originally designed for American Special Forces I believe. I think it entered service around the Vietnam era, kind of, along with like the Iroquois. This thing is quite easy to unlock. Unlike the Apache or the Viper, which you have to go through quite a lot of, well, they're basically at the end of the American helicopter tree. This thing, you only need to unlock one of the other helicopters and then you can research it independently. I guess you could buy the AH-64A and skip the grind completely, but where's the fun in that? So anyway, the AH-6M, it's battle rating 10.0 in the 6th rank of the helicopter tree. And unlike a lot of the other American helicopters, we actually get Hellfire missiles at 10.0. Most of the other helicopters only get the tow missiles, which are very limited in terms of range. I believe they only have 3.7 kilometers, whereas the Hellfire Ks that this thing gets are 8 kilometers. So it's double the range and at a lower battle rating. The Hellfires have also been buffed recently, the guidance is a lot better, and they seem to be one-hit killing machines at the minute. All these things combine to make the AH-6M Little Bird an absolute cast monster, especially at 10.3 now with the new KVT Premium. I've been playing this quite a lot and having a lot of fun, so I thought I'd make this video just to spread the knowledge a little bit. Alright lads, so welcome back. Unlike a lot of the Soviet helicopters which tend to be quite heavy and unresponsive, the AH-6M is obviously a light scout helicopter, meaning it has excellent mobility. It feels like a Zero of the helicopter world basically. Very nimble, very agile, it goes up and down pretty easily, good yaw rate, everything you really want in a nice little attack helicopter. You can easily get in and out of places, go behind cover quickly. It basically means you're very good at getting out of harm's way if you see an enemy spag spawning, basically stuff like that. Whereas something like the K-52 or the Mi-24Ps, it takes a long time for you to get the helicopter moving after like you know you need to get out of there. So to get all the boring basic stuff out the way, the max speed 250 kilometers per hour doesn't really matter in a helicopter, they all go roughly the same type of speed. What is important though is our pilot skills or pilot abilities I guess. We have a CCIP as well as an EEGS. I'm not really too sure what that last one means. We get the CCIP for our cannons and rockets, and we also get night vision as well as thermal imaging. We have a base 10x zoom and a optional 19x zoom for both the TV and the FLIR pod or forward looking infrared. We also have an auto tracker which allows you to lock onto an enemy tank and that will track them even if they are moving. This is a feature only really found on top tier helicopters. So at 10.0, like I said, it is a very strong cast platform. We also have a radar warning receiver which comes in handy because it basically tells you if you're being detected by an enemy jet or more likely a ground-based anti-aircraft missile system. So what type of weapons can we actually use on this thing? Well, we have 4 hard points basically. You can't really carry anything on the 2 innermost pylons apart from 7.62mm miniguns. These aren't really useful at all to be honest, at least not in ground realistic battles. Maybe in helicopter enduring confrontation you could use them to take out AA emplacements or howitzers, but I generally choose not to take them. They make the helicopter quite heavy and they do add obviously quite a lot of weight. So in ground battles I don't take my innermost pylons, but what can we take on the 2 outer pylons? Well, one option is another minigun, but it is a 50 caliber GAU-19. Not really sure why you'd ever use this to be honest. While it does have pretty decent ammunition, you can penetrate the top of enemy tanks. It uses the SLAP armor, the Saboed Light Armor Penetrator bullet. I'm guessing this is basically just like APDS but for 50 calibers. Gives you 49mm of penetration at point blank range. It can be used to go through the top of some tanks. It's not very reliable though, and you obviously have to get suicidally close to the battlefield to be effective. Maybe it's useful in a stock grind if you're trying to do helicopter enduring confrontation. Maybe, but in general 50 caliber minigun isn't exactly practicable, but yeah, can't speak English. So what about some more useful weapons? Well, it is an American helicopter, so of course we can take the Hydra 70 rockets, the FFAR, folding fin aircraft rocket I believe. Not even actually sure if the Hydras are them, but anyway we're getting sidetracks again. Pretty decent missile. They're obviously quite inaccurate, but we do have that CCIP, remember, so they can be quite accurate. Unlike some of the Hueys though, we can only take 2 Hydra pods. We can't take 4 pods on all 4 pylons. This is what I don't really understand why you can't take. I don't know why the inner pods can't be used for rockets. I guess that's just the way the aircraft is designed, probably too heavy. So we can only take a total of 38 Hydras into a match, which as you can imagine isn't really that much at all, to be honest. We also can't take the Hydra pods on the inside pylons and then take some other weapon system on the outer pylons. It's a bit strange really, but I guess that's the way the helicopter is designed. We can also take the laser guided variants of the Hydras, the APKWS. The first one is the M51. This is basically just a HE warhead. The way this works is it uses the targeting pod, basically the laser designator that you'd normally use for a Hellfire missile. And the M51 basically it fires the rocket and then it kind of tracks onto the laser guidance system. It isn't very useful in my opinion. It only has 18mm of penetration with a 1.36 kilo warhead. So it's not really going to do anything against enemy tanks. Maybe if it's against a light tank you could get some luck with it, but it's very, very unreliable. These rockets are also a lot larger than the M247s. We can only carry 7 of these per pod compared to the 19 of the Hydra rockets. We also have the more modernized version, the M282. Instead of just being a normal high explosive, this is a semi-armor piercing high explosive. But because of that change, our TNT equivalent has actually dropped down to 570 grams of TNT. But we do have nearly double the penetration, up to 41mm. Again though, not really worth it whatsoever. We can only carry 7 of them. They aren't really going to be that useful against pretty much any main battle tank. Again, only really being useful maybe when you're stock and you're going to use them to target like AAA or howitzers in Hell EC maybe. But in ground realistic battles, pretty much a waste of time. And finally for us today, we have the AGM-114K Hellfire 2s. These are the most advanced Hellfires that we currently have in War Thunder, found on things like the Apache and the AH-1Z Viper. These are laser and inertial navigation guided. They have a range of 8 kilometers and they can penetrate 1200mm of armor. The guidance systems have been buffed, as I've said recently. They now travel a lot more directly to a target instead of lofting and coming down on the roof. This is a good thing though really, as it means the missile gets to the enemy a lot quicker than they used to do, which basically makes it easier for you to get kills. Enemies had a lot of time to get into cover in the previous system, so this is a much better change. I don't know what Gaijin did as well. They seem to be a lot more consistent getting one-hit kills now. Maybe the more direct path to the target lets the heat, cone or jet of explosion do more damage rather than coming down from on top. But anyway, I'm a very happy chappy. The Hellfires are very good at the minute in ground realistic. Arguably the Apaches are a lot better than the Ka-52s at the minute. That might be quite a controversial statement, but yeah. If you can get your hands on this helicopter, it's an absolute beast. Not only are the Hellfires incredibly good, you can only carry 2 per pylon and you can only carry the Hellfires on the outer pylons. So you can only take 4 of these missiles into a ground realistic match. While in most War Thunder maps now, you can kind of just take off from the helipad, fire your missiles and then go and reload. You don't really need to go too far away from the helipad in order to get a kill. So I've been having a lot of fun with this. I'm not really going to say any more because this is unscripted and I don't really want to sound like a nervous, well, not a nervous wreck, but I don't want to waste anyone's time. It's an absolutely fantastic helicopter. I'd highly recommend grinding it if you don't have it, and if you do play American top tier, then it's an absolutely fantastic CAS aircraft, and I vastly prefer it to planes. Hey lads, if you made it this far into the video, then thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. I have a whole load of other content on my channel, including tutorials and other vehicle reviews, so why not give them a watch, and if you like them, please do consider subscribing. Thanks again for watching though boys, I've been SAKO, and I'll see you in the next video.